moved down here, of course, we have a 3,500 square foot home. Our electric bill in Big Bear in the summertime would be, maybe like 150 or so. Down here in the summer, it was up near 500. So of course that was a major impact. In Big Bear, the gas was the more expensive, of course, in the winter. So we realized we had to do something. And we had talked with Jimmy about a year ago, and so we were kind of waiting to see. Who has been great, by the way, I have to say, because he never pushed us. He said, wait and see what your bills look like, and he gave us a year to figure it out. And we knew that we had to go to solar because the cost was so much. We were on level pay, but even still, it was a lot of money each month that we were using to go to electricity. So
you would say it was about roughly how much in the winter, even though it's level pay?
It was still 150. Right
okay, and then summertime.
Summer was in Big Bear. That's what it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then coming to Redlands, obviously it doubled. You would say?
Oh, tripled.
Tripled. Okay.
Almost, because if it was 150 in the summer, it was like sometimes up to 500.
Yes. Yes, they were, and what it is, you guys, is Big Bear has its own electric company. So, coming here with Edison is actually one of the more expensive electric companies. Obviously not the most expensive. You still have San Diego and PG&E. They're pretty up there. But Edison is pretty expensive. Their rates are going up. They're coming from Big Bear. Joe and his wife have noticed that they use the air conditioner a lot because they're used to the colder weather. Obviously here in Redlands, it's not as, the same weather. But yeah, so what Joe did is, we figured out his bills. He got them all together. We were able to fit him a system that fit perfect. At first, the system that we fit him with, he was going to have a little bit of an Edison bill left over, right? And then, of course, Joe was able to adjust that. And by adjusting that, the same system size, actually it's just a little bit bigger, is going to give them actually extra electricity now, because they have learned how to control their air conditioner. They have learned how to control their usage, because obviously solar, as people know, solar just doesn't take away everything. It doesn't mean, oh, let's go solar, let's go crazy with the air conditioner, let's go crazy. No, what solar does, it's a substitute. It's a cleaner substitute, it's a cheaper substitute, and then obviously, as we know, it's the future. So now what we did is so let's explain now. So we had you at about an average of $240, I believe, with Edison. It was roughly around that. It was 220 going to 240, going from there. Now with solar, you're provided with extra electricity. Now you can use a little bit more. What is going to be the difference now? It's going to be going from 240. It was 240 with a 6 to 7% increase rate every year. Now with solar, what is your payments looking like? And then what was the option you chose to do to get it?
Well, and I have to say thanks to Jimmy, because we didn't know. I know we've had people come out from other solar companies, and that's why I would just recommend. He's been so helpful in letting us know, because you'll get a system. We had a friend that had a system, but it was enough to cover part of their bill, but I don't know how it worked out, but at the end of the year she'd have to pay a big lump sum to Edison because it didn't cover all of her bill, and then she gets a big bill at the end of the year. We didn't want to go that way. We wanted to, and we were babies. Jimmy didn't tell you that, but we were babies. We moved from Big Bear. We were used to like this cold weather, so we said our air so cold. We were cold in the house, but we were babies. But that was actually a good thing, because it gave him a higher wattage use to use. Now that we got more climatized, we're not using as much. So that's why now this system that we have on the roof, which he did fit us with a system that we needed, not just one to like help pay half of our bill, but one that will take up most of the bill. That's what we wanted to do, because
it's a scam too.
Right.
What it is, you guys, what he's trying to say is that there are some people that won't tell him, like they could come in and say, I could come in and say, hey, we have this solar system for you. It would be at this price or this cost. And then someone else can come at a cheaper cost, but they will not tell him, hey, you know what, this system is not going to take up 100% of your electric bill. It's too small of a system. That's why it's cheaper. And then, of course, Joe and his wife wouldn't know this until a year comes up, and then you're hit with that Edison Edison bill. And again, you would have to have an appointment. I would have to break it down in an appointment to truly break it down. You know, maybe one day, you guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a video inside of a house, breaking down, explaining it with someone else. But yeah, pretty much that's what the scam is that you can get things at a cheaper cost, but they don't tell you that the system's not big enough, or they'll lie and say certain things just to get it up on the roof, because once that year hits and you know you've been scammed, the solar's already on the roof. You're stuck for, you know, at least 20 years or who knows how long, or you got to buy the system off and then you take it off, but no one would do that, obviously. So that's what Joe's trying to explain on that part. It is a scam that still goes on to today. Obviously, meeting with other solar companies, and they never broke that down, or again, you hear nightmare stories from someone else. It keeps you away from solar.
Like the person we mentioned, where they had this big, I think it was almost like a tax bill at the end of every year. They had like $2,000 some odd dollars they had to pay that they were not charged for medicine, so they had to pay that at the end of the year. And it's like, okay, we don't want to go there. So
yes,
Jimmy is so good. I know I keep doing this, and I don't get any kickback from Jimmy. He's just a really good guy, I have to tell you. He was word of mouth from us, so I let everybody know that he will break it all down for you. He won't give you any kind of a sugarcoat it where it's like, okay, no. If he tells you, in the beginning when we were using so much, he said, Joe, we can't cover all of what you're using because you're so much usage. And then this last year when we saw him again, he's like, oh, now we can totally cover you, because now we said it more probably most people would say it, now that we've gotten climatized to the area. So he does not sugarcoat anything or tell you, oh, it'll be perfect. I know we're not going to be disappointed. We're going to watch our meter go, and we're going to get credit each month and kind of earn credit. And there was nothing hidden from what he told us, and even the contractors he works with are just as well to inform you everything. So it's really wonderful. It's been like there's a no worry feel, which is great to think, because it's a big investment, but it's a totally worth investment. So exactly.
And people, and you know what's funny is people always think like, oh, I don't know if I can afford another bill. And I'm like, you're not having a bill, you're replacing one that's already at a high. It's like pretty much a cell phone. If you're paying $200 a month for a cell phone bill, but you could get the same service, or if not better service, at a cheaper cost, you're going to go for it. That's what it is. So it's not like you're paying one bill and then you're paying a bill on top of that. Obviously this is done, you know, to afford it. Again, it's done to have an affordable price for the next 20 years. Joe actually has a neighbor next door named Tony that had an install from me as well. It's been about 4 years, I think. He's had it 5 years, and he's still loving it to today. So of course, you know, them talking really shows that it's, you know, it's the way to go. Now just explain for about maybe a minute about the tax credits. How does that impress you?
Oh, well, it's really, really a wonderful thing. What we did is we're paying for our panels. So that's a really good thing. But even if you're financing them, which we talked about some options with Jimmy, if you go to the end of the year, I think it's $12,000, isn't it, that they give you back?
Yeah, well, what it is it's 30% of the cost of the system.
That's right.
So you guys are getting $12,000 because that's 30% of the cost of the system. Next year, it will be dropping to 26%. And the year after that, it will be only 20%. And then after that, it's gone, you guys. So it will no longer be available.
It's
so
a win-win right
yeah,
now.
right.
Imagine getting 30% off of a price of something that's an investment. That's good.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty much what it is that you have the cost of electricity, and it's at a higher cost. And then now you're getting solar, you're getting extra electricity, and your payments are still cheaper. So even without that 30% being there, it's still beneficial. But as an extra, like, hey, you know, California needs this, the government is pushing for it, they're now getting a 30% tax deductible. You know, throughout the years, you get to claim as much. Again, that's going to be up to tax advisors. You know, I'm not a tax advisor, neither is Joe. So I always recommend people going to their tax advisor about this as well. They figure it out. But again, sometimes when I met some people, Joe, that actually couldn't even really get the 30% because they had a lot of kids or a lot of things going on. But they still got it because they said, well, it's like even without the 30%, it's still worth it.
Well, think about it. It's like, so you're making yourself affordable electricity. We're not making, but the solar is. So this investment you've done, and then you're being rewarded, no matter what it is. If it's, you know, 30%, if it's even 10%, whatever, you're getting something back for making it better for your whole household. So either way, it's a win, because whatever you get back is just like an extra little perk. Like, well, thanks that we got something back just to
exactly
to help save us money each month. So it's either way, whatever percentage it is, it's a good.
Exactly. Well, I want to thank you, Joe, for doing this short video. Like I said, I really appreciate it. I've experienced nothing but kindness from you and your family. Like I said, good luck in the future with everything. And like I said, obviously we'll be keeping in touch. And is there anything else you would like to add before we have to go? Or
I have to say it one more time. I said, you guys, really, Jimmy is the best person to talk to, because we've talked to many. Oh my gosh, we had so many people calling us every day on the phone, and they were just so pushy. Jimmy never pushed us. He knew what we could do. He waited and let us kind of figure out how we were going to manage a way to do it. It all worked out, and he's been so good. He's patient. He's not pushy. He doesn't make you feel like, oh, you better do it now. So I have to say, if you really want to know truthful, that's the hardest thing to find nowadays. Like you said, there's people that want to make money and they care about their money more than you. Jimmy makes it very personal, where he cares about each family he's talking to make it work for them. And if it works out, it's great, and he'll get it going for you. So he's the one I think to talk to.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it. Perfect. Thank you so much. You're actually pretty good at this. Thank you. And then as you heard it from yourself, you guys, this is Joe, and he's getting his solar, and of course in the future we'll be having more people to speak to. I'll even be reaching out to old customers of mine that's been having their system for a few years now, and have an interview with them as well, just so again everybody can feel more comfortable about this. Again, thank you, Joe, for being on video. I appreciate your time, and again, we'll be talking soon.